Ladies and gentlemen, KocoSports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. It's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got the Coco crew here holding it down live, 2/3 of the internet infantry here, talking about the sexiest man on all internet wrestling radio. That's right, Boom Boom here, shaking the room live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. And of course, joining me at the PWME UK headquarters, talking about LK. He's on Red Bull number 12 right now, and Dave's off having a beer, so got LK filling in here. So what's up, buddy? This is the first time I've seen you in 2016. You're looking all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. What's up?
I'm in my prime. If on Monday Night Raw, me and Coco did a review of Raw, and literally the peak of excitement when it came to Raw was me marking out over ADR's haircut, Bertie's haircut. I absolutely adored the fucker out of it. So I looked it. I did the full 360 spin. He had it grade 2 at the back, short on the top. But the issue is I didn't like he has it spiked. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go with the old cheeky little flickaroo down the side, so that'll do that magic. Fresh start, fresh year. ProWrestling.me, sign up for free. Looking fresh, looking sharp. Now let's rock this shit out for this Smackdown.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I see that. Nice little dude. Just don't have it coming down too much. And whatever you do, don't grow a hipster mustache. I'll have to kick your ass then. But if you stay babyface, we're fine. All right, so SmackDown is actually a lot of news here. This was, the first SmackDown of the new year. It was also the first SmackDown on the USA Network. They broadcasted out of Laredo, Texas. A brand new lead announcer talking about Mauro Ranallo. There we go. I'm going to try to get that away. I promise you before the night's over with, I'm going to pronounce his name correctly. So I guess I got to ask you, okay, this is the first question we always ask of every show. What do you give tonight's show? Do you give it a win, a loss, or a tie?
I'm giving this, I can't believe I'm going to say this for another product, a weak win. Like, I felt that when I was watching this, it didn't feel like I was watching WWE. It felt like I was watching a sport. Like, actually felt like I was watching pro wrestling. I think the commentator, Mario, whatever the fuck the jabron's name is, he does a fucking phenomenal job. He called that hold for hold, and in my opinion, that is the best announcing I've heard in about 5 years. Easily.
I was about to say, you got to set the bar a little high there if you're going to say for WWE that was good announcing. My opinion, his shtick is not going to last long because he actually called the wrestling holds. Yeah. He actually told us what was going on in the ring. They don't like that with the WWE. They're going to tell him to tell stories, so they're going to pick on Byron Saxton.
But maybe what they're going to do is they're going to have, because in my opinion, that this felt like a sporty show. Raw is the entertainment show, so if they make SmackDown the sporty show, they could have the guy call the matches who's a sports announcer, and I think they did a great job. I mean, there's only 4 matches. The 4 matches were pretty good, and two out of 4 of them were very good. They all got given a great amount of time. Some even had build. I think this could be the sports show of the week, the wrestling show of the week, where the wrestling fans can go and watch, where they can have a wrestling commentate the wrestling matches instead of the usual bullshit that we get each and every week on Raw, which is for the entertainment aspect. But as a whole, I give the show a week win.
I'm going to give it a tie. I mean, yeah, there were some good elements to it, but the thing was, I'd seen it all before. I mean, at one point, I swear to you, I kept checking like the information on the programming to make sure I wasn't watching a rerun. Because aside from the new commentator, everything was a rehash, a repeat. It either been done a couple of weeks ago or it was done on Raw. It was just completely rehashed. There was nothing new. There was nothing fresh. There was nothing original. It was, okay, you know that hamburger you really liked the other day? Well, we had one left over. We just heated it up in the microwave for you. Here it is. Here it is again. It's like, you didn't fix anything? No. It's the same hamburgers that we made Monday that you seem to like. We just saved one for you, reheated it, and here you go. That's the way that I saw this SmackDown, so that's why I gave it a tie. Laying it out here, and by the way, we've got the live chat room up and going, so please be sure to get your questions and comments on. We're going to try to get through this show here and and get specifically to your questions and comments. It started out with John Cena in the ring. He comes out, he delivers a promo. This is before his injury, and of course, if you follow us at ProWrestling.me, we've already reported that John Cena is going to be out, looking like anywhere from 6 to 9 months with a shoulder injury. He went to my old stomping grounds, Birmingham, Alabama, for a checkup, and more than likely, if it's orthopedics, it's probably more likely going to be Dr. James Andrews, or at least somebody with his office down there at St. Vincent's Hospital. So he's going to be out for the foreseeable future. But anyway, he was trying to challenge Alberto Del Rio for the United States Championship. However, Del Rio wasn't going to bite. He's saying that, you know what, he wasn't going to give a match to Cena. He was going to give a match, but it was going to be for the title, and it wasn't going to be against Cena. So John Cena just conveniently, and this is where it got into ridiculous territory for me, was it's like, how would he anticipate that Del Rio wouldn't accept his challenge, and he just happened to have somebody in the back ready to accept a challenge just in case that happened. It was Kalisto. He came out there, and John Cena trying his damnedest to get this kid over. Kalisto, in my opinion, taking the Rey Mysterio spot now that the masked luchador has signed with Lucha Underground, so now Kalisto going to fill that position. I think it was a good showcase for him. It seemed like Del Rio was starting to get the upper hand on the, obviously, you know, on the undersized Kalisto. Went to taunting John Cena. John Cena looked like he was going to get involved, but gave Kalisto, but Del Rio gave Kalisto too much time to recover. He was going for the cross-arm breaker. Kalisto countered it to a Hurricanrana and pinned him. Got a quick 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to tell you, okay, I like that, you know, that they're pushing Kalisto. I like that they're, you know, a lot of these guys from NXT, I love that they're pushing them. I do wish his tag team partner, Sin Cara, speedy recovery. I believe he may have actually separated his shoulder with that spot he did off the ring apron against New Day the other week. But and I'm glad they're pushing them, and I guess, you know, getting the rub from John Cena helps. So, but overall, I found the presentation a little hokey, but in the end, I think it worked. So, but what's your opinion on that? What do you think about the whole setup? Did you find it as ridiculous as I did? And what do you think about this kind of, like, you know, this kind of push, this boost that they're WWE starting to get behind Kalisto?
I don't mind Kalisto. I do feel bad because 2 months ago when they did the quarterfinals in the WWE Heavyweight Title tournament, it was this exact match, Alberto versus Kalisto, and I legit said that Kalisto should be fired, and that's how poor his performance was. So I kind of feel bad because now it's like he hates him. Here you go, let's push him down his throat. I legit said the guy should be fired. His performance was that weak and poor, but he's turned things around. He's been having some good matches as of late. TLC, looking back, in maybe 5 years' time, you could say that was, no pun intended on the Sammy Ward, the breakout moment of his career. That he's going to look back and say, you know what, that fucking hurt like a bitch, but it was fucking worth it. I just love the commentary. He's calling the moves hold to hold, and he did such a great job. For SmackDown, I remember back in 2007 and 2006 when JBL was on commentary, where he was unfiltered and could say what he wanted. Holy fuck, JBL is a great commentator, such a great heel commentator. Have JBL go out there on a sports show, because he's when it comes to him talking about the history of the business, he's fucking incredible. So you have JBL out there, you have Mario, Mario, whatever the fuck this jabron's name is. Him and JBL, cool the shots, cool the show. King pissed me off something rotten tonight, but I'll get onto that because there's a certain match that he really grinded my gears on, but I don't want to get onto that. But the match itself was okay. I liked how Kalisto got the woman to roll up, and I did genuinely enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they're going with Kalisto. Probably going to get a Kalisto versus Bertie match on Raw for the US strap next week. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope maybe even put the belt on Kalisto, because, I mean, Sin Cara might be out for a long time, because obviously the injury he took with the back bump off the apron to the floor, which looked absolutely nasty and just filthy. But apart from that, okay start to the show. I didn't like, though, how the match it happened, okay? It just, conveniently, the referee was there, the bell rang, and we're underway. That shouldn't happen. That should not have happened at all. And that's not the only time it happened in the night at all. So they need to really work on that.
All right. Match 2 here. This was, in my opinion, this was just painful. This was absolutely painful, the getting to this. It started out as a segment for Miz TV. The New Day came out and interrupted. Apparently they were taking exception to Chris Jericho's comments about calling them, and I'm actually going to quote now, Rudy Tooty Booty. I'm quoting. Okay, and then for some reason after that, you had Dolph Ziggler come out, then you had Neville come out, then you had R-Truth come out, Goldust came out. Hell, I was about ready to go out, but they stopped me, before I could go through the curtain. They're like, "Hey, wait a minute, you're a fat internet nerd. You don't. Well, we're tempted to send you out there, but no, you can't." Um, they made a joke about R-Truth saying, "Hey, this was he was going to accept the U.S. Open challenge," and they told him no, that wasn't it. And he said, "Well, no, we're here to talk about the Royal Rumble." It's like, "Oh, well, how do I get in? Is there an entry fee?" Anyway, it led to a big match. It led to, when I say big match, I mean 8-man tag match. It wound up being Miz teaming up with all 3 members of the New Day to take on Dolph Ziggler, Goldust, Neville, and R-Truth. Ronaldo called it. I think he did a pretty good job of calling the match, but Neville got in there early. He started taking the brunt of the punishment. Eventually made the hot tag. Ziggler came in, went on offense. Truth tried to show up, was dancing around acting like a fool. And instead, Goldust caught him, and then Dolph Ziggler super kicked Miz, got the pin. 1, 2, 3. The good guys win. I'm going to be honest, I kind of flipped back and forth out of this match because I really just didn't want to see it. I thought it was a cluster. I just think to me, I think this showcased exactly what's wrong with WWE, because in a time right now where they've got so many people injured, and I'll talk about that later, they have done nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing to anybody on the mid-card to where any of these guys could step up and be credible contenders for the WWE World Heavyweight title. So I think, to me, I know this match was supposed to build up hype, especially for the mid-carders going into the Rumble, but I think it did just the opposite, in my opinion. I think it just exposed about how laughably a bad job their creative team has done with the mid-card and all these performers. I don't buy any of them right now. Is not even a contender, not even on a challenge on Monday Night Raw contender for the WWE World Heavyweight title. But what were your thoughts on it? I mean, did you find it big as a clusterfuck as I did?
Yeah, this was the worst segment / match of the night. I mean, it felt like a New Japan 8-man tag. There's just, okay, here's 8 guys, fucking go have a match. It's like, I'm happy Ziggler got a win, because I can't remember the last time he got a win. So, because Ziggler got a pinfall, he could take that, I guess. Trying to think of something positive. I loved how Ziggler super kicked R-Truth and then threw Goldust over the top and shouted, "It's every man for himself." That's okay. Hopefully they give him a big win on Raw as well, so that hopefully with this, what I hope they do is that they have qualifying, because at one point I don't know what commentator they said, but said that Ziggler out of all these men is the only man officially announced for the Rumble, like officially entered. I fucking swear to God, I hope we get some qualifying matches where the winners advance to the Rumble, because obviously now,
when it comes to the Rumble, and this is just me thinking like kayfabe-wise, the whole point of this match is the Authority hates Roman Reigns. They want Roman Reigns to drop the title, so they're going to make him essentially defend the title in the Royal Rumble. So for me, if I'm booking this and I'm the evil Authority figure and I want to get this belt off Roman Reigns, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put him in. Big Show says he's going to be number 1. So, yeah, let's put Big Show in number 1. Let's put Roman Reigns in number 2. And then I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to try to put as many heels in this as possible. I'm going to put in New Day. I'm going to put in the Wyatt family. Then I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to get on the phone and I'm going to call in my buddies. I'm going to bring in Kevin Nash. I'm going to bring in Scott Hall. I'm going to bring in Brock Lesnar. I'm going to try to get as many big names as I can get in there because I'm evil and I want to get this title off of. It just doesn't. I really don't feel like Roman Reigns' title is in jeopardy if I'm sending in the Social Outcast, if I'm sending in Goldust or R-Truth. I really, I'm just like, I just don't feel like the title's in jeopardy. But if it's like, you know what, it cost me a damn fortune, but for one, you know what, I'm bringing it, and I'm just making this up. I'm bringing in Bill Goldberg, just to try to hype it up, That's what I would do. So it just didn't do it for me.
I don't think I did it for anyone. I don't even think
Yeah.
the participants involved in the thing were particularly pleased with it. But you get when sometimes you get given chicken shit and it's so diarrhea-ish that you just can't turn it into salad. And this was one of them times. And worst segment match of the night. Not worth your time. Not worth your time
Absolutely.
at all.
And before we keep going here, I do want to give shout outs to Ronnie, to Randy Morgan, to Joe O'Hare, and especially to two couple of Internet Infantry originals. Talk about Ewok from Endor and Forsaken. They're in the comment. They're in the live chat room, and they just got joined by Liam. So thank you guys for joining us here. Keep those thumbs up coming, and keep your questions coming. We're going to get to those in a little bit. We're going to try to get the review here. So next, we're going to go to match 3. This was the only reason I think this kind of got some buzz, and I liked it, was because it was a title match. It was Charlotte versus Becky Lynch for the WWE Divas title. Of course, Becky Lynch scored an upset victory over Charlotte on Monday night, which completed Charlotte's heel turn after she jumped Becky Lynch after the match, beat her down. This match was, I think the match was okay. A little too much shenanigans for me. Charlotte took an early lead. I like that little headlock, that figure 4 headlock that she does where she flips her opponent around and around. I love that. Becky Lynch started to get some momentum, start to be on the comeback. Actually hooked the disarmer on Charlotte, but Ric Flair reached over, grabbed Charlotte's leg, put it on the bottom rope. Referee then looks over, sees the leg on the rope, calls for the break, just as Charlotte tapped. Then Charlotte got the roll up, put her legs on the middle rope, got the 1, 2, 3, and so I kind of liked it because it was kind of a payoff from, if you watched on Monday night, you saw that, Becky Lynch pinned the champion, so she gets a title opportunity. She had this match, she got screwed out of it. This feud is obviously not over because they can't now. And I should mention now, LK, that this just kind of came out today. There's rumors that Sasha Banks is actually injured now. I know the injury bug is making its way through the WWE locker room like a motherfucker right now. Sasha Banks is out with an undisclosed injury. No idea on what it is or how long she'll be out. I mean, she could be out a week. She could be out 2 months. I don't know. At least I'm not getting any new information. So what did you think about this match? And with the news of Sasha Banks being out and, obviously Nikki Bella out, how do you think that's going to affect the landscape of the Divas division headed into not only just the Royal Rumble but WrestleMania?
It depends. I think now with there's so many injuries, I would say I have sympathy for WWE, but then I don't because it's their fault for not building enough talent. Like if this was 1999 and 5 of the top guys got injured, you'd be fine. You'd be absolutely fine. So this is God fucking Vince. I'm gonna be. This is God saying, look, buff, buff, buff. And he's going to keep going and going. He's just going to keep clicking his fingers. And I tell you, it's going to click his fingers until WrestleMania. It's going to be an NXT show. It's just going to be NXT call-ups. I mean, who have you got left? I mean, you got Ambrose and Kevin Owens. I mean, you got Reigns. Main event stars. Who have you got? You've got no one. You've got Sheamus at a push. That's it. That is it. In my opinion, the hottest feud right now, and like they said on this show itself, is for the IC strap with Ambrose and Owens because that's really the biggest stars that there are at the moment. Because there's no one. Sasha Banks. I kind of do feel that they were saving her championship match for WrestleMania, so I think that is a big shot on the arm for WWE. And I do feel a little bit sympathetic because it's WrestleMania. It's where they get the most people watch the WWE, and if the most people watch WWE aren't seeing their stars, they're just not going to watch. And then when they don't watch, it affects the viewership figures. So that's selfish, but match itself, though, the Divas Championship match with Charlotte and Becky Lynch, I love the technical exchange at the start. I think they've got that nailed down to the point. I loved a victory roll for a near fall at one point with Lynch. I legit thought she won the belt there. It's a great near fall. And I loved how Charlotte won by cheating. Like, in the end of the day, I talked about this, I think it was on the Impact review I did in this channel yesterday. How the reason why EC3 is so good, he does nothing flash, he does nothing that fancy. He just goes out there and does his job, and that's being a heel. Heels are meant to be booed. As much as I love Dolph Ziggler, and I love, as Dave Coco said, love him more than a straight man should, but he goes out there, when he was a heel, he tried to get that babyface pop. He tried to. He was a heel, but he still wanted to get the pop, like, yeah, let's go Ziggler. No, you shouldn't. You should want them to boo the fuck out of you. And here she won with the roll-up. She used the ropes. There was Ric Flair interaction. It was a really good match. I generally enjoyed it, and I absolutely loved this commentator's Mario, whatever the fuck. I can't get this guy's name right. he had his passion when it came to Charlotte cheating legit just made me go, oh, that's fucking good. Like when he's like, no, she got robbed. Like he did a really, really fucking top job, and I was really happy with his performance. And then he basically screamed, Lynch should be champion, and I think he did a fucking great job of putting that over. And I think at the Rumble we're even gonna get the one and final match, or maybe a 2 out of 3 falls series. I'm not sure how they're gonna go down. They're probably the one-on-one. But then again, obviously the world title's on in the Rumble, so there's a lot to fill on the card. So maybe give this a 2 out of 3 falls, because from what I saw here, I really enjoyed it. This is a joint match of the night for me. I really fucking love this.
Oh, absolutely. I know one of the programs that they were talking about for Mania, and of course this could still happen because they didn't say exactly how bad at all Sasha Banks was injured, but they were talking about maybe putting, Sasha Banks in that spot for WrestleMania to, challenge for the Divas title. There's even talks about calling up Bayley, which I'm a huge Bayley fan, so I kind of hope they don't do that because I know if and when they call her up, they're probably going to fuck it up because what they're saying about Bayley, at least what the critics are saying, at least internally with WWE, is either it's going to be feast or famine for her. Either she is going to be super over or she's going to fall flat on her face. There will be no in between. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get back on topic here. I think maybe you could drag this feud out a little bit longer, and I think maybe you could go back to it, but I think you need to have somebody else come in. I think maybe you could have her have Charlotte feud with Natalya. Those two are capable of having a good match because they had one on NXT when they crowned Charlotte the NXT Women's Champion. Because in the finals of that match, it was Charlotte with Ric Flair in her corner versus Natalya with Bret Hart in her corner. It was a pretty good match. So I'm thinking that's something. And plus, I believe that Becky Lynch and Natalya are the only two faces they got left in the Divas division. I think everybody else is a heel. So you're either going to have to turn somebody face, or you're going to have to start calling up NXT girls. All right, so let's get. Oh man, here we are. Man, can you believe it? We're already to the main event. Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens, Intercontinental title on the line. Nothing pretty about this. I mean, these two guys were beating the crap out of each other. Eventually, it goes to the outside. They start fighting out in the crowd. Referee did the 10 count. They didn't stop. They kept going. Eventually, it went over to like the staging area where they do like all the sound and have all the production equipment. And they both did a dive off of some I don't know trailers that haul like equipment. They attempted to go through 2 tables, but they got half of one to break. So that out of 2 tables, they got half of one to break. So that wound up ending the show. I'd seen this before. You know what I'm hoping for, LK? I'm hoping that they have another match, the Royal Rumble, and I hope they up the ante, like something like a street fight. Or I know when you say straight fight, no holds barred, no disqualifications, essentially the same match, or maybe a ladder match. I just want something to where they put the cherry on top of the sundae and they move on, because I think it was a good idea. They just ran this thing into the ground, and I really hope they have just some kind of blow off, just some kind of just huge thing to end the feud. At least that's what I'm hoping, because I really want to see Kevin Owens versus Lesnar at Mania. But what did you think about the brawl here? I mean, do you think this feud jumped the shark? Do you think WWE just oversaturates it when it comes to feuds like this? Because they'll have 2 guys and they'll have them feud and fight each other literally every week, and then they just play it out too much. Or do you think they do just a good enough job? I mean, what do you think about these feuds here?
I think it is the best thing going in the WWE right now. If you'd have to say what feud to watch, I'd probably have to say this, because they've had a couple of great matches. My gut instinct telling me we're going to have a rematch on Raw. I do think my gut instinct's telling me we're going to get the blow off on Raw, and then I think we're going to have Owens go on to say, look, I'm a prize fighter, I'm going to win the biggest prize there is, and then I'm going to headline WrestleMania. And then you can have Ambrose go in and try and protect Roman Reigns, because obviously you've got Roman Reigns in there. Then you can have the Usos involved, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose trying to protect Roman Reigns, trying to get him to retain. Then maybe you could do a Dean Ambrose heel turn. I'm not sure. That's up to them to decide. But in the end of the day, I think that Ambrose should keep the belt. I think Owens is going to move on to bigger and better things. I did fucking love the beautiful spiked Draper DDT from Kevin Owens. He absolutely spiked the fucking shit out of him right in his head. It looks absolutely beautiful. And then this commentator, every single match we talked about, I've put this guy over, and I'm going to say it again. He was calling moves hold for hold, calling it like a fucking sport. He called it like this was real. And King during the Neville match. Okay, this was the commentary I wanted to touch on. King goes, Neville is the only man he sees that has ears. I've got to restart that again. This is so. You ready for this? You're going to strap yourself in, 'cause this is appalling. This is a direct quote. Neville is the only man in the world who sees his own ears in a mirror. Let that digest. Neville is the only man who sees his own ears without a mirror.
That's classic Lawler.
Jerry the King Lawler in 2016, the Hall of Famer on commentary, was probably the greatest commentator there is out there right now. Some people say Matt Striker, but I was appalled and disgusted by Matt Striker's Wrestle Kingdom 10 commentary. It did not make me want to check out Lucha Underground in any way, shape, or form. I'm watching it anyway, but his commentary for Lucha Underground is so much different to what that was. That was filth. It wasn't as bad as Yoshitatsu, but then a guy who just sits there looking at a camera is better than Yoshitatsu's commentary. Oh, but unbelievable. I'm not going to go on a New Japan rant because that's the wrong time and place, but I did enjoy this match. Good main event. I loved how it was for the belt, big fight feel to it. Commentary did a great job, minus Jerry the King Lawler. And fingers crossed for a big blow-off maybe inside a cage. I miss the good old days where the cage...
I could stand to see a cage match at the Rumble. I could stand to see that. That sounds like a good idea. Whew. All right, let's get to some questions and comments here. So keep them coming here over in the chat room section. We'd love to hear from you. Ronnie S., he's going to give tonight's show a tie. Randy Morgan says, with Raw being so bad tonight, almost anything would be a win tonight. I give it a loss just because I'm tired of the champions coming out first. I'm not only tired of the champions coming out, I'm always tired of the champions or the authority coming out and they talk for 20, 25, 30 minutes straight. I'm tired of that. Joe O'Hare, going to give them a win here. The new announcer was big for me, as he was for us. He was very fresh, yet felt old school and professional and helped me buy into almost every storyline. Imagine that, LK. An announcer calls the match, calls the holds. It enhances the enjoyment of the viewer.
Dude, get this guy on Raw, send him down to NXT, put him on main event, put him on Superstars, put him on the pay-per-views. This guy's gold. This guy's money. This guy is fucking absolute great at his job. Well, I don't care what it is you're doing. If you're a janitor and you're fucking good, I respect the fuck out of you for being that good at your job. When I see someone no matter what it is, when they're good at their job, I will literally die for that. I am literally so damn... Unbelievable. This guy is outrageous. If you didn't watch this show, please just watch it for that guy's commentary because he's fucking out of this world.
I will say this about Mauro Ranallo. It sounded like he knew all the holds. He didn't need any help. It sounds like he'd done all his homework on all the competitors, and it's like he needed no help. I mean, he just was in there and just boom. He was all over it. He was calling holds. He was calling moves. He knew everything about, seemed like he knew everything about the competitors. Absolutely. I mean, I think he done a great job preparing. It's definitely better than the days of Mike Adamle. Ooh, don't want to go too far back on that one. All right. Let's see. Joe O'Hare, someone should have told all truth. All he had to do to get in the Rumble was tweet about it because screw qualifiers, right? Absolutely. Hey, okay, do you remember the days where in WWE where the Royal Rumble came around, and if you actually had a match or got involved in a one-on-one or tag team match, any kind of match on the pay-per-view, you couldn't be in the Royal Rumble because they had that much talent?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I remember when in 08 and 07, especially with the brand extension at its peak with ECW involved. I think at one point, Raw had 12, SmackDown had 12, and then ECW had 6 spots available, and there was just loads of matches that really were you're really emotionally invested because it's 2 big stars going at it for that one big shot, and you're really emotionally invested. And I think they could really do with that right now. Maybe what you could do is maybe you could have maybe you could have NXT guys come up and say, look, I want a shot of the Rumble, and then you have a guy on Raw who isn't doing that great, chucking a Ryback, say, look, I'll challenge you to a match when it goes onto the Rumble. You don't have to have the NXT guy to win. You just get him some TV time. It's simple as that. And in front of a live audience that big on national TV, gets, especially if it's a guy who you're not really sure about calling up. I wish they did this with Tyler Breeze, because now that guy's just when was the last time you saw the guy? Enough said. Like, literally, I wish they did that with Tyler Breeze. Have him a few tryouts on Raw TV. You know, say that this is NXT's Tyler Breeze. He's yet to make the jump, but this is him attempting to make it. I think that could be a great stepping stone. They should do that every year, but they won't.
They should do something there. Ewok from Indoor, he actually asked a pretty good question here. Who's getting pushed now that Cena is out? Reigns can't sports entertain himself. That's true, Ewok. I guess we're going to talk about the Rumble here. I mean, there are several different scenarios you could play out. You could either have a huge shocker where Reigns loses out in the Rumble, and then it's like he spends Fastlane or trying to get his number one contendership back, and then goes into Mania as the challenger, or he could retain again. Then you could have, I think, a rumor that I've heard, and again, this, like I say with all rumors, take it with a grain of salt, that it's going to be Triple H versus Reigns at Fastlane, and then meanwhile you could, at least, and if I was booking, if you have Reigns retain at the Rumble, you need to have something like something like an Elimination Chamber match, so that way you can crown a new number one contender and have them who the challenger is going to be at Mania, or you could do that either way around, because you're going to have to make, because right now you need to do something to make Fastlane, just because right now Fastlane, the February pay-per-view is always the most fucking useless one in WWE history, and that's the only way I can think of to make it relevant. You have Reigns loses out, and then he competes in like a number one contender like gauntlet match or something, against 5 other guys in Elimination Chamber, or he wrestles Triple H, and then, or you have a bunch of other guys wrestle to see who you got to do something to make Fastlane, but that's what I'm seeing, and you've got just that much time to build it up, and of course, who knows. Do any of you guys think that Daniel Bryan will ever get cleared? Of course, that's from Liam. He's actually referring to like a story that I actually read today. I think we might have that up on ProWrestling.me right now, is that with all the injuries going on right now, and with the news of Bullet Club and Nakamura making the jump over to WWE later this year, Daniel Bryan is absolutely begging to get cleared to go into the Rumble. And right now, to be honest, LK, and I'm going to ask you if you think they're going to do it or not. Do you think WWE, especially with all the injuries they're having right now, they're desperate for big-name stars. Do you think WWE, even with conditions like, okay, well, you can't do a flying headbutt, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, do you think even with that they would clear Daniel Bryan to at least participate in the Rumble?
I think this is going to sound like a biggest conspiracy you ever heard. I think they're putting him back because they want Reigns to be over as possible. Because if Daniel Bryan comes back, it'll all be about Daniel Bryan. No one will give a fuck about Roman Reigns. If they keep Daniel Bryan off TV, they're going to be forced to like Reigns. I think that's what they're doing. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think it's propaganda. I think it's a conspiracy. I honestly do believe Daniel Bryan could compete right now anywhere in the world. WWE upper management just say, look, they passed the doctor a cheeky few £1,000s to say, look, I want him off TV. I don't want him able to be wrestle. I don't want him to be able to do anything, because I want my man Roman Reigns to be the number one guy. The minute Daniel Bryan comes back, all the attention will be back on him. That's all the internet will talk about instead of Roman Reigns. I think that's honestly right. I honestly do. I think Daniel Bryan could fucking wrestle right now if he wanted to. That's my honest opinion on it.
Yeah, because Liam said, talking about stuff coming up, like, can you imagine AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan? Fucking shut up and take my money.
Nakamura, Daniel Bryan, Jesus wept.
Oh, God. Oh, that would be awesome. Daniel Bryan would be awesome. I'm still hoping Styles makes waves if he's Rumble bound. It sounds like he is. From what I understand, and I talked about this on the last show that we did when Dave and I talked about New Year's Dash, is that AJ Styles was actually working without a contract in New Japan when he gave his notice, so he's free to go. Now, as of right now, none of the four have actually physically put pen to paper and signed. Nakamura is not going to finish up until at least February. I think Gallows. I think he's free to go. but Anderson, I think he's got till February, March on his contract. So it's going to be kind of a staggered release. I don't know exactly how they're going to do all this, but and I think it's both Gallows and Styles are going to have to pass WWE physicals, which I believe they should. I don't think unless there's like some kind of like heart murmur or just something I'm completely unaware of. I think they should be fine.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
All right, let's see here. I'm again scrolling through all your comments. Nakamura versus Bryan, so many possibilities. I agree. I do love how everyone is in a panic now that Cena. This is from Ewok from Indoor. I do love the way everyone is in a panic now that Cena is injured. He's one person and not a good sports entertainer anyway. He's kept us kind of laughing about that. Oh crap! Sorry, my computer just reset there. Okay, let's see. This is from Liam. Have you guys seen how Ziggler looked like a trainee pretend to be a Shawn Michaels on this show? Ziggler just doesn't give a fuck anymore. I was going to call him and say that hey, David Lee Roth called. He wants his 1984 image back.
Yeah, he doesn't care, bless him. But yeah, you do what you do for money sometimes, and he's doing what he has to do. Poor bastard.
Yeah, I guess I gotta ask you, man. Have you officially lost all respect for Dolph Ziggler? Because I think actually I have. I think when I saw him tonight, I was just like, done.
When he signed that contract, he must have thought that I'm going to get some kind of push here. I'm re-signing. I'm showing loyalty. I could go anywhere else on the planet. I've got offers on the table. I'm showing loyalty. I'm sticking there. I'm going to get a push. Like, in his mind, he must have thought that. If I'm right, it was around the summertime, correct? So it was around Money in the Bank. Maybe he thought, if I show loyalty, maybe they'll give me Money in the Bank, then I can do the cash-in like I did after WrestleMania 29, where that insane pop that will give me goosebumps every single time I watch it. And I honestly feel that he's just like, okay, I've got my contract. My contract runs out in July of this year or whenever it was. I'm just going to fight the good fight. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to earn some money. I'm going to put some people over in the process. Look, he tried with Tyler Breeze. He tried. That's a sinking ship. And speaking of sinking ship, Tyler Breeze himself is a sinking ship. That poor bastard. I bet he regrets ever moving up to Raw and SmackDown. It's not staying down at NXT. But I do feel for the guy. But I can see where some people are like, nah, he's a sellout bitch. I can see that. But in the end of the day, if he can't do anything physically about it, because obviously breach of contract, he just has to go there, just go through the motions until his contract ends, and just pray to God that this guy goes to New Japan. That's the only way I see it.
All right. Let's see. Adrian Alex Poe has a question for me. He says, boom, will Ambrose turn heel in 2016? If you would have asked me that about 6 months ago, I would have said yes. But now I think with all the injuries that's piling up with the WWE locker room, I don't think you could afford to. I think you need to have a good secondary babyface, and I think right now the roster's been spread pretty thin in terms of numbers and in credibility. And Ambrose is one of the few baby faces they've got left that still got some credibility. So I don't think they'll pull the. Of course, I could be wrong. Everybody could be healed up by after the summer. But as of right now, I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on that.
No. If they were going to do it, they would have done it in November at the Survivor Series. I don't think they'll do it now.
Randy Morgan, how much money do you think Vince is offering Austin for one more match? I don't think Austin's ever going to wrestle again because, remember, he went out because of neck injuries. He had neck surgery. That could greatly shorten his career, and I just think he's done. It's just I don't know if I'm in good conscience I could let Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestle in a WWE ring. If I was in charge, I just, with the history of neck issues and him being, a celebrity and us being a publicly traded company, I don't know. I don't know if I could, in good conscience, put him in the ring. Even if I just wrote took a check and put the date, put to the order of Steve Austin, signed it, then turned it, slid it over to him, go put a number, put any number that's going to put you in that ring. Even then, I don't think I could do it.
Depends. It's up to him. If he says, look, I want one more match, I have to have closure. Because he didn't really have closure. He got out because of the neck injury, like you said. If he goes out there, he just wants one more match just to say, look, this is it for me. What a career. I'm going to end it in my home state. in Texas in front of the largest audience there is against the opponent of my choice, Rock. Why not? Why the fuck? Actually,
Well, we already
speaking
know
of
The Rock's going to be at Mania.
exactly, and just imagine that you don't even have to announce Austin versus. Actually, you should announce Austin versus Rock. But one of the things that think people are looking over, if you remember last year in an episode of SmackDown, believe it or not, the 1,000th episode of SmackDown, they did a stare down between Triple H and The Rock, and then at WrestleMania 31 they did Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Ronda Rousey, Rock segment. I honestly feel that we could get The Rock come out, costing Triple H the Rumble, meaning Roman Reigns wins and retains. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Rock versus Triple H. Undertaker. See, that's where you got it. That's where it gets confusing. Because then what you're going to do with Owens, what you're going to do with Ambrose, what you're going to do with Taker. I mean, you could chuck in Taker with Kevin Owens. I have no clue what you could do. But ideally, in my mind, I have Triple H being number 30 in the Rumble, Roman Reigns being left from number 2, then have Triple H just beat on him. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, Rock comes running out, he beats on Triple H, Roman Reigns clotheslines, Big Nose out of the ring, Reigns retains, Reigns and Rock celebrate, Rock gets Roman Reigns even more over with the rub, then you can have Rock versus H at Mania, Reigns versus Lesnar, because Lesnar can win a quality. Actually, no, you could turn Ambrose heel. Maybe you turn Ambrose heel at Fastlane, then you do Reigns versus Ambrose at Mania for the strap, Triple H versus The Rock, Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens as your 3 big main events.
Yeah, now Adrian Alex Poe had a good suggestion. Well, why not just let Austin be a guest referee and just stun someone? I could be down with that.
But he's done the guest referee so many times now, it's kind of lost its value, isn't it?
True. Ewok from Indoor. I've just seen Styles and Nakamura at Wrestle Kingdom 10. Ooh, good for you, sir. Do I really want to watch the same match for WrestleMania? The answer, sir, is yes. Yes, you do.
Yes. I don't fuck. It could be on Superstar. I don't give a fuck. That's something you just want to watch over and over again.
All right. Well, that's it right now as far as questions and comments. So it's time for shameless self-promotion here. You can always check us out at prowrestling.me. If that's correct, it's not a .com, it's a .me, prowrestling.me. We've got all kinds of news and gossip up on there. We've got, of course, we broke the news about John Cena's shoulder injury. We've got results from TNA, which I believe OK's done a review of already. We've got the fallouts from New Japan Pro Wrestling and with Wrestle Kingdom 10 and New Year's Dash. And if you have not seen Wrestle Kingdom 10, you owe it to yourself as a wrestling fan to check that show out. It was pretty good. We've also got news, gossip. We've got photos on there. You can upload your stuff. It's the Facebook page for professional wrestling fans. And, of course, it's with KocoSports.com, KOCOSports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass. So, okay, let's see. One last question here from the Internet Infantry, and then we're going to call it here. If Reigns loses the Rumble, and this is from Adrian Alex Poe, if Reigns loses the Rumble at Fastlane, they have a number one contenders tournament. Will Reigns win that too? I think he has to. I think he has to go to Mania as the champion right now. I think he has to.
Yeah, I don't think they could afford to do the chase again, because booking a chase is very difficult to do it right. Like, you noticed, the build for the chase with Roman Reigns was absolutely fucking atrocious. Once he got the belt that night, it's clicked since then. It's so much easier once he has that belt to book him as a great, credible champion, compared to if you didn't have him have the belt and have to beat him with the chase, book him with the chase. Sorry, I think that's a really difficult thing to do, and they can't book shit for shit. So they really need to make their jobs easy as possible, especially with the injuries. And I don't think their roster's in depth enough to have a championship tournament like that. I honestly don't. I think they're going to scringe and scrounge for this Rumble. Do we have 30 men in the back in that locker room? Do we honestly have 30 men in the back of that locker room? I don't know. Like, unless you're going to throw out fucking Zack Ryder, Bull Dempsey, Alex Riley, fucking R-Truth, there's going to be a lot of jobbers who, I don't like using that term, lower mid-carders, jobbers, they're all the same. But in the end of the day, when it's for the big belt, I think they should bring the big guns in, try and bring in some guys like a Booker T, just for one last run. Just bring in the big names who can just do one match only. Fucking bring in Vader. Have Vader come out, because Vader does indies every now and then. Bring Vader fucking out for that one moment. Just make this fucking Rumble possible. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have Ambrose Owens go out there, tear it down for 30 minutes, then they're going to have to go back out there again for another half an hour, 20 minutes, and they wonder why they get so many fucking injuries. And it's stupid. They work them to the ground. They don't give. If they gave Cena, like for instance, they have, just say, they have 10 big stars. Puh, that don't make yourself laugh there, but they have 10 big stars. They have a month off each. They have 1 full month each. Every single one of them. They go to the dirt sheets, Dave Meltzer, dirty Dave, you piece of shit, and say, look, I've injured a part of my body. This is obviously disclosed within the company, and then just say, look, I've just torn my shoulder. I'm not gonna be there. Dirty Dave Meltzer's gonna be all over that like a little rat that he is, and then all the internet fans will just think he's injured, but he's not. He's at home healing. They need to bring in some system, because in the end of the day, if you are working these guys 5 to 4 days a week, every single week with no time off, you are going to get burnt to the ground. Imagine it your job right now, whatever job, listen to this, whatever job you've got, and you're doing it 5 days a week, okay, and you have no holiday that whole year, not one holiday, and this job makes you travel every single day away from your family for 5 days in a row, and not only are you bored out of your mind, but you're getting beat and beat and beat, and sometimes it mentally drains you when you're not getting what you want. Imagine that every single week of the year with no holiday at all. I couldn't do that. I honestly couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. And these guys are absolute nuts for doing it. Every single talent should be given 4 weeks off a year. It should be. It's a job. In the end of the day, they're making money. It's a job. Footballers have time off. English football players have time off. Cricket players have time off. Basketball players have time off. Baseball players. Every single thing in the whole world, apart from WWE, has time off. And it's not fair. It's bullshit.
Oh, well said. And also, when you're at ProWrestling.me, be sure to check out the VIP section by LK. It's 50 pence a month, which if you do the math here, it's 75 cents American, but 50 pence a month.
I'm gonna cut you off. It's no more, Booms. I'm fully focusing on growing ProWrestling.me in 2016. All shows will be free. I cut you off there big time. I apologise. I should have said that before, but it's no more. We'll be cranking out the reviews for free for everyone to be able to enjoy.
Well, there you go. So check us out at ProWrestling.me. And you know what? We're going to have to leave it there. We got a lot of more stuff coming up here. Of course, this weekend I think we finally get a break, but we're going to pick it right back up with Monday Night Raw following the show Monday evening. And then, of course, you've got NXT, you've got Ring of Honor, and, of course, you can always go back through our archive. We did a lot of reviews, a ton of New Japan stuff this past weekend. So if you haven't seen any of that, be sure to check that out. So that's going to do it. So this is Boom Boom, and for my partner LK and Dave Coco, I am over. Boop, 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 boop.